Take one of this round. What's going on, YouTube? Thank you for joining me here for another video. We're gonna jump right into this one. I have something new to talk about, and it's a recurve bow. I say new, I've actually had this thing for about 9 months now. Last season, I shot my buck on, I think October 10th or October 12th, somewhere in there. And like a lot of people, I'm just kind of ready for a new challenge. So I was done early and I figured, you know what? I've been wanting to kind of get into traditional archery. My season in Ohio, at least, is pretty much over. I'm gonna pick up a trad bow. And my initial plan was to go out and shoot a doe with it, but I didn't even end up taking it out hunting. I just felt like I needed more time and more practice. So I'm just gonna kind of break down what I decided to go with for my first recurve bow, and then just some of the stuff that I've learned and found out here over the course of the 9 months. I feel like there's a lot of people in the industry that are starting to drift in this direction. I think a lot of people are just fed up with kind of the way bow hunting is going and all the technology that's being introduced to the sport. And there's a lot of people wanting to get back kind of like to the roots and to what hunting used to be. I'm one of those guys. I got nothing against compound bow hunting. I've had a pretty decent track record the last decade or so, and I was looking for a new challenge. I fully intend on continuing to hunt with my compound, but I'd really like to shoot a deer with this recurve coming into the 25 season. That's my goal. So I ended up buying the Galaxy Sage. It's a $100 bow, super cheap. I say $100, you know, it's probably $120 when it was all said and done, especially when you add the quiver and the arrows and all that stuff. You're looking at probably closer to $200, but just the bare bow you can find a lot of different shops for right around $100. I bought mine from the Sportsman's Den here in Shelby, Ohio, which, a side note, if you're in this area and you're looking for a bow shop with some great dudes, the Sportsman's Den has some awesome, very knowledgeable techs. Josh, Lane, Wyatt over there, all those guys know what they're talking about, and they're all killers too. They're all successful hunters, and they know what they're doing. So Wyatt hooked me up with this bow. He recommended this just as a great like starting recurve bow. It's something you can hunt with and have success with, but it's not your $1,500 Black Widow or something like that. It's just a great bow to get you started and learning kind of the trade. So the Galaxy Sage, 62-inch bow. I got 45-pound limbs on mine. I believe you can get them in 40 pounds as well. It's a takedown bow, and I put air quotes around that just because I believe that means you can break down the limbs. There's a couple bolts here. You pop these off, take the limbs off. Obviously, you'd unstring it as well, but that, if you want to pack it in your pack going into the woods, or just make it a little more compact for transportation or storage or whatever, you're able to do that. 62 inches is obviously a pretty long bow compared to your compound, so maneuvering it through the woods may be a little more difficult, or there may be some learning curves in that regard. I'm not really sure yet. I don't plan on breaking it down, especially hunting here around home, which is primarily where I'll hunt with it. Probably exclusively where I'll hunt with it, but you do have that option. I believe the riser is made out of oak and maple, and then you have your fiberglass limbs. There is attachments for your stabilizer and for a quiver. I obviously put a quiver on here, a fuse quiver. I didn't go with a stabilizer. I haven't been shooting with a stabilizer. I doubt I'll add that, but you have that option, obviously. This is your entry-level bow when it comes to a recurve. Obviously the price reflects that, and that's the reason why I went this route. Never shot a recurve before and figured it'd be a great place to start. You get what you pay for a lot of times, but this is a bow that you can enjoy. If you want to hunt with it, you can do that. I plan on obviously doing both. And then, maybe I'll upgrade eventually. We'll see. So as far as shooting it goes, I want to talk a little bit about that. Being just completely green, I went with what feels right to me. Growing up shooting my toy bow when I was a kid, I always shot one up, two down is how we referred to it. Your index finger above the nock, and then your middle finger and your ring finger below the nock. I know a lot of guys that shoot traditional archery will go 3 under. Whatever's comfortable for you. The 1 up, 2 down works well for me. Obviously your middle finger is the main point of contact. That's where a lot of the weight kind of sits. But that's been great for me. I wear a 3-finger glove. See if I can get it here. Got it attached to my, I'll just pull both up. I got my 3-finger glove, and then I've been wearing an arm guard as well, just an old arm guard that I had laying around. And then I plan on shooting the single bevel, their Vantage Point Archery single bevel broadheads. I've obviously just been practicing with the field points, but Wyatt from the Sportsman's Den recommended those broadheads. So being that we're into July now, which is crazy to say, I'll be putting those on here soon and starting to get tuned up, dialed in with those. As far as anchor point, that's something to talk about as well. Just like with your compound, I personally don't think your anchor point location is as important as just making sure you anchor in the same spot consistently. What I mean by that is some guys will recommend anchoring like up high in your cheek, which makes a lot of sense to me, you know, being able to look down the arrow shaft. I can't with my glasses. My glasses end up getting all crooked and I can't see. So I have to anchor a little bit lower. I end up anchoring my index finger into the corner of my mouth. It's just a really easy reference point. I can get there every single time. I don't even have to think about it. So wherever you feel comfortable anchoring, you know, I obviously recommend, just make sure you're doing it consistently. 28-inch draw, I believe, on this bow. And I think that pretty much covers the specs. Shooting it around in the yard, I may have mentioned this earlier, but just to reiterate, 5, 10, 15 yards, feel super comfortable with, very consistent as far as my grouping. I like to be able to just hit like a paper plate size. Like if I'm within that, I feel pretty comfortable. Obviously anything condensed is better. But going into it, if you're new, I wouldn't have the same expectations that you have with your compound. Now, if you can shoot as good with your recurve as you can with your compound, then you're doing something right. But you know, it's a little bit frustrating when you first get started just because you're not going to be quite as accurate. At least I wasn't. So paper plate size, if I can hit in there, I feel confident. Moving back to like 20 yards is difficult to me. 20 yards is like 100 yards. And I may have mentioned that earlier, but the more you practice, obviously, out to those further distances, the more confident you get. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of run through my experience so far with the recurve. Again, just was looking for a new challenge, and I know there's a lot of people out there that are in the same boat. So I'm hoping this video maybe encourages you to take that leap or take that jump. And if nothing else, just having it to shoot around the yard is fun too. You don't necessarily have to hunt with it. In an ideal world for me this season, early in the year, I've been eating a lot of venison, so I plan to shoot a couple of does, and I may try to, you know, get a doe under my belt with it. I know I've been telling my brother and our buddies that about that time when I say that, a really good buck will show up on camera, and I'll probably go back to the compound. We'll see though. I like getting them close, and if I can shoot one 15 and in, I'd be thrilled. So that pretty much covers it. Yeah, Galaxy Sage recurve bow. Brand new to this. We'll bring you guys along on the journey. I'm sure there'll be some hunts on our channel this fall with the recurve, hopefully with the deer at the end of the video. No promises though. I know there's going to be a lot of misses and a lot of learning to be had. So we appreciate you guys joining us on this video. As always, we're going to try to keep cranking these out. We got some product review videos coming out that we think you guys will find interesting. Some coyote trapping stuff. Obviously our podcast is hitting the channel on Mondays. So we appreciate you guys watching as always. If you've been out there practicing with your bow, whether it's a compound, a crossbow, a recurve, a longbow, you name it, kudos to you. The season's gonna be here quick. And if I can get one 15 and in, I'll be pretty confident with this thing. So thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next time.